Hello guys, in this video we will talk about the 2015 movie Class Killer. A bunch of stupid soldiers attack an unknown creature. All attempts of soldiers to destroy the enemy end in failure after the schoolchildren sit at their desks and at the command one of the students they take out a firearm and then they start shooting at the essence of yellow colors. It soon becomes clear that Yellow is not a teacher of schoolchildren, and according to one student the task of the class is to kill the monster. None of the teenagers managed to hit the merits. Moreover, during the shooting, the teacher had time to roll call. Soon the principal of the school reports that the worst students are being transferred to Class 3E and go to another school which is located somewhere in the mountains on the way to a new place of study. The students understand that it can't be worse than this. Then Yellow doesn't represent what she presents to her students. She says that she will not only introduce their lessons, but also take them to take responsibility to act in row if the class teacher next to him is a man from the government named Karasum. He tells the students that they are the last hope on this planet. Their main task is to kill the nearby monster, otherwise the entity will do the same with the Earth, as well as from the Moon. In the end, the teacher reports that he has agreed with the government and gives a little time for humanity is also the main condition in the deal to become a teacher and give the opportunity to kill his students. The government issues a special weapon with which it is possible to kill a monster. In addition, it is not dangerous for humans. The creature demonstrated the effectiveness of the materials and shot off a limb that grew back in less than a second. A man from the government reports that the killer will get 10 billion yen as a reward during another attempt to kill the teacher. A school teacher who is actually an experienced killer jumps out of the closet, but she also fails to harm the creature. A few days later, 3 teenagers and he asks his friend named Nagisa if he describes the weaknesses and features of the creature in his notebook. The guy says yes and shows some observations to his classmates in the lesson. Nagisa carries the work to the teacher and covers her knife. Coming close enough, the guy tries to hit something with the knife. After a failure, the teenager cuddles up to the teacher and then it blows up. Confident in victory, the students are quickly disappointed because the creature remained alive. The monster threatens a teenager and warns them that if this happens again, it will harm their families. Since it is impossible to touch the students because of an agreement with the government. After the teacher calmed down, he praised Ansatsu's resourcefulness. Next, the schoolchildren decide to call their new class teacher Karo-sensei. The next day the teenagers managed to catch the teacher in the net, but this did not slow down the cleave. Our mutant much. The students tell the government man that they left a trap in the form of magazines with naked women and it worked on the creature. Karo-sensei manages to get out of the trap, and after he punishes the students by giving them twice as much homework. Then a new student comes to school named Korma who is notified of his new teacher. The teenager holds out his hand to the teacher to say hello but was glued on his palm, material that is harmful to Koro-sensei. And Nagisa believes that karma can be very useful in their difficult task. In one of the lessons, a new student left the octopus he killed on the table of the class teacher, squabbling in such a way that his opponent does some educational work for this and demonstrates his abilities to the guy. After some time, Korma comes up with a new plan. The guy asks the teacher if he should protect his students, and when he answered yes, Korma takes out a gun and jumps from a cliff to 1C and constructs a network from his body and saves a teenager who did not count on such actions from the outside creatures. After a few weeks, the government sends a robot with ever-improving artificial intelligence to the school that they think is capable of killing the monster. After Kora greeted his new student the robot from using machine guns against the teacher, the class teacher dodges a bullet, says that he got used to this thanks to the students as the robot will take too often new murder attempts. The teenagers decided to glue him up so that he would not interfere with their studies. Soon another newcomer named This comes to school and breaks through the ceiling and says that in this way he proved his superiority over other students. A man in a white cape enters the class after him and says to the newcomer to use the door. The man tells everyone in the class that he is the bodyguard of a teenager. Then he approaches the Roya and says that the same blood flows in him and then challenges the teacher to a duel, to which he agrees. From the office the students did a small arena of Eton hair and tentacles came out with which he was able to inflict some damage on the teacher. The victory went to Karo-sensei after he threw the guy out of the class. After a while the students asked their teacher why he decided to teach the worst class in the world. Kora answers this that he just does at the request of one person. The teacher then conducts additional classes with the students, and they are once again convinced of how great the speed of Karo-sensei can be. He informs the students that he manages not only to study with everyone, but also to rest. Nagisa says marked in a notebook that when the teacher creates his copies, His brain activity worsens further. The schoolchildren had an English lesson in which most of the teachers sorted out relations with the students and tried to teach her to pronounce her name correctly. In the evening the girls gossip with the English teacher until they were interrupted by the bark dressed in men's clothes. The schoolgirls instantly switched their attention to the teacher and trying to find out from him about his personal life. Kara-sensei did not answer questions and left. They ran after him, because of which the teacher had to hide in the office where Karasumaker was located, told him about what had happened, after which the man also asked the monster about his personal life. He tells him that everything was good in the past. The teacher did without details, because he believes that the man will not understand him in the morning. The Karasum shows the results of the training and informs the creature that the students are noticeably succeeding in everything. The punishment of the son, and believes that this is still not enough to kill him. Nagisa on the way to school he meets acquaintances from the old school, but some of them are not happy to see him because the boy is in the worst class of all. In the physical education class the students meet a new teacher who treat teenagers with various goodies. A man from the government says Kara that the new teacher will teach students more effectively than he himself at the time in it. The physical education teacher tells the teenagers that now they are like a family and they can call him dad. At night the English teacher talks soon about the new teacher. The girl found out that at first this person gets sick teenagers with gifts rubbed into confidence and then starts beating her students. At the next lesson one student strongly tired, because of which she falls down restless. The teacher knows how the schoolgirl is doing on something, tells him about his desire to return to the previous physical education teacher. The man, having heard this, hits the girl in the face. He was going to do it again, but the correspondent and the sum stopped the unbalanced teacher. Teacher offers to choose the best student if he can just hit him with a knife. Then the methods of teaching the Karasum are more effective than anyone else. After motivating speeches the man chooses a Giza. Other students are sure that this is a bad option. The teenager approaches the teacher and smiling looks directly into his eyes. The guy's action is put very badly a man, thanks to which he manages to win on Jesse, which definitely made all the students happy. After what he saw, he admits that the students of Class 3 units have become very experienced and some of them will be able to kill him the next day. The teenagers notice that the teacher's head swelled. This one starts squeezing water out of herself. Following the student, she comes to Rusin and asks him to try the poison, of which she put her soul into it. He could not refuse such an honest one, and the creature praises the poison of the teenager, but he is not able to kill him further. The correspondent arranges an exam and everyone who scores the highest score will receive the right to save the teacher from one tentacle. Moreover, if the teacher is deprived of a limb, his speed will noticeably decrease. After the lessons Karo-sensei began to look at the chest of the English teacher, which the girls didn't like very much. Meanwhile, the two students go home and discuss new options for defeating their teacher. After finishing the conversation and they separate, Karo-sensei flies up to one of them and goes with her to where they speak English because the student has problems with the language. After a few days passes an exam that they were able to pass the students in order, they decide to deprive the teacher and tentacles on vacation and then start building a bench. In the evening the students settled on the roof and admire the fireworks, discussing tomorrow's plans later. Cows comes sincerely wishes the teenagers good luck in their next plan and in saving the entire planet. The next morning the teenagers are equipped and after that they chain the teacher to the structure without any problems. The students shoot at the tentacles and then release the water because Kara-sensei does not tolerate it. After the students shot the creature in the head it exploded, throwing everyone around the audience. When the teenagers came to their senses they saw that the teacher was not in the same place. Looking around more carefully the students find only the head of the cows. Sure, the teacher says that he had to use all his energy in order to secure. Moreover, no weapon can harm the creature. Now the protection will be active for 24 hours. The former PE teacher arrives soon. He wants to make Jisoo suffer because he managed to defeat him, but even more he wants to get Karo-sensei also on the side of unbalanced and Tone, who starts chasing Nagisa and Karma, since those teenagers decide to climb the tower, but it doesn't catch up with the guys in the middle of the way. The feed understands that it will soon begin to rain, which will weaken their opponent and begins to drag out time in every possible way. When the rain started, Nagisa saved a classmate from the feeler. Then the guy returns to the man with the head of a teacher and he tells the teenager that he knows how to kill the monster and asks him to give it to him. He thinks that the cement, along with special ammunition, will destroy the creature. In addition, he decides to use the student because he can explode and thereby get out of the trap, and since the schoolgirl will be with neither M in one cage, the teacher does not dare to risk it, and the Nagisa asks the men for life and give the schoolchildren the opportunity to kill the creature, but he began to use physical force. He takes the bag with his head and realizes that inside is a simple ball in the head at the stern that came out with the whole class. Soon arrive several helicopters that will help students kill Korra. They made a heavy-duty capsule that they place the Karos creature of the sun and says goodbye to their students while the material fills the capsule. Soon an explosion occurs inside and tied to their teacher, and students begin to mourn his death. At some point she present a handkerchief. It turns out surviving Kara. All the students and Kara-some rejoices when they see the teacher. The second semester has come and the school returns to its normal mode. Kara says that it would be great if the students can kill him before graduation. And this is the end of the film for today. All the guys, do not forget to subscribe so as not to miss new ones. Spavid. EO, thanks for watching.